Well, hello and welcome to episode 28 of the Gr8 Nrthrn Sexcast. Kelly Guest here, Colleen Bertino.
Good morning, everyone.
We're almost to the big 3-0.
I know.
Can you believe it?
I don't know. I wonder if we can. I think we can maintain. I think we're going forward. I think we have energy.
I think we do.
Well, I know I have coffee, so it's all the same damn thing.
Yeah, and Michael is here this week. Hey, Michael, how you doing, sweetie?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, it's great. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous day, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's just lovely. I know that my yard is a jungle. I'm sure everybody else's yard is a jungle too. Just was out there.
All the rain.
Oh.
I mean, but it's beautiful. I mean, this is what we live for. This is what makes Minnesota winter worth it.
Oh,
I
is.
think.
Yeah,
it
is. Yeah.
So.
Before the mosquitoes are the size of vultures.
Oh no. Hello, I am
Are
one large mosquito bite.
That's right.
I just moved to my cabin
Yeah,
for the summer, and I can't. I mean, I walk outside. I mean, I'm one of those people they particularly like. I mean, Carl gets a bite, and it's like an hour later. There's no evidence that anything ever happened. For 2 weeks, I've got bumps, and I'm covered in itch cream, and it's just disgusting.
My grandmother did not react to mosquitoes. There are many, many lovely things I've inherited from both sides of my family. Why didn't I get that one?
I saw something on Facebook the other day that said, "No, here, right?"
Yeah.
I saw something on Facebook that said, "Why don't mosquitoes suck fat instead of blood?" And I'm like, yes. Now that would be a useful bug. I want somebody to genetically engineer that thing.
Yeah.
You could bite me all day. Okay, guys. So, I think the biggest event on the plate of the Fantasy Gifts team and the Gr8 Nrthrn Sexcast is Pride Weekend coming up.
It is coming up. It's this Saturday and Sunday, which is a ton of fun and 2 tons of work. But but it's worth it. It really is. Because you have to set up the tent in the morning, and then you have to take it down because you can't leave things in the park overnight. That would be bad. We saw someone do that one year, and they came back, and all that was left was the novelty socks. Everything else had been cleared out of the. And we just looked over and said, "Did they really leave everything out there?" No, you take it down and you put it back, and then you put it back up the next morning.
Can I just say one thing by way of market research? I think that maybe they should, not if they didn't even get stolen, they should probably not reorder the novelty socks.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
It was funny. It was like what they were like. What's left over? The sock. We're like, oh, jeez.
What kind of business was it? Do you remember?
One of our competitors. I can't remember the name, but they've never been back.
Oh,
so that was it. I think they learned what's going through there. But no, we set up a little tiny mini fantasy gifts. We bring in some special items. The best part is I had to send Michael, and I wanted to ask you what sort of looks you get when I send you to Sam's Club and you buy a 10x10 tent and 1,000 blow pops. Because I was thinking about this as I wandered through the garage, and I'm like, well, there's an interesting purchase.
It is very interesting purchases. And a lot of people don't even question it, but a lot of times I like to offer that information. It's like, I like shock value.
Oh, yes.
So I'll go to Party City, and I bought some morph suits for some, we had some bondage gear morph suits,
okay.
Where you put on this whole suit and covers your face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they come in all the different colors, the lycra thing. Yeah.
So me and Eric had to put those on and try out some bondage gear.
Yeah, we had all this leftover. We had all this leftover leather that wasn't packaged, or the packaging was bad. It had been sitting in our office for like 10 years, and I was going, just throw it. It is done. It is not like that. And I admit I was 100% wrong. It was still in great shape. We, conditioned it all, but there was no way. So those guys put the stuff on, put the morph suits on, and then posed in the pieces so we could take pictures and we could see what the items were, and then we put them out at absolutely probably 10% of what they used to be. But we just wanted sold like crazy because it was heavy duty, spectacular leather, but it was just no way of selling it anymore until we did this, and it was just I was like, okay, I was wrong. Yep. I am perfectly fine admitting when I'm wrong about stuff. That
photo shoot was it was crazy because some of the positions they had me in, and then I had to stay in that position. There was this one thing that tied around Eric's thighs, and then it went around my neck, so I was forced into the position.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
It was fun, though.
Oh, can you see out of a morph suit?
You can.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a really thin nylon. It's really comfortable. You can breathe out of it. You can actually drink out of it.
They're very, very silly, yes.
Yes.
Oh, I think I need one.
They're really cool.
I think we ought to get all three one and get. I think everybody that comes in and is on the team should have our pictures lined up in a more, and they should be in pride colors.
Yeah, do that. No, yeah. I think I think I've seen people wearing them as part of the costume going down Pride Parade and stuff like that. So I think some of the folks, although my favorite folks in the Pride Parade, I mean, okay, there's always the guys in the jock straps. I can't deny that that's not a nice sight. But the and I don't know which organization it is, but there's one company that always does a whole bunch of the balloons. They do like the balloon creations. They wear like skirts and the tails and the headpieces and this and that. And they're just, I mean, really, balloons are just happy.
They are.
They are.
That's true. That's a very good point.
I think that's one of my favorite ones when they're going down the street. I mean, I believe Target always has a shopping cart thing. That's pretty fun. There's certain things I just always get a kick out of watching. Although most of the time I'm setting up, so other folks can go do the parade. I'll get, watch the parade. I'll go, set up the booth and just sit and watch it. Because that's my job. I get a parking spot and I make sure people have caffeine. Yes. I have certain roles.
You're good that way.
At Pride.
Yes.
Going through there.
Well, I think one of my personal favorites, because the first Pride Parade that I ever witnessed, I watched the entire setup from a friend's balcony, 12 stories up. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I saw where everybody was preparing, and it's the Wild Roast Cafe dancing cake drill team.
Oh, yeah. I've seen the cake.
Slays me. Have you ever watched them do their groove with the whistle?
That one I have missed.
Oh, God.
Because they started.
Michael's nodding.
They started after, I went back to the... just guarding the booth so other folks could enjoy.
And that's the one they're in a piece of slice of cake, right?
Yeah, they're all.
And they all do this dance and get that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And it's synced up, and it's hilarious. And they're all wearing tights in the different colors with matching Chuck Taylors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then they've got their hats or dollops of frosting, and they all take it very seriously. It's it is a scream.
If you're going to go down that parade route, you do take it seriously, or you run your ass off like we did the first year that we did it when we were up front. But no, it's fun. We won one year. I think I mentioned this before. Their first year that we did it, a few years ago when we were in the parade, we got best rainbow themed float, which was really cool.
Very cool.
Which the best part was is that we got free entry into next year's parade. So I loved that.
Lucky you!
And then we did the parade that year, but it's really hard to compete against the really good looking guys in the jock straps. So you didn't quite get that one. So and then suddenly we realized that we were. It was too exhausting. We just don't have enough folks.
Okay.
Yeah, so we decided what we will do is that we will hand out everything from our booth, and then everyone can parade in front of us.
Exactly, yeah.
It's still exhausting, but in a whole different way.
Work smarter, not harder. Let them come to us.
No, it's a party. I've got a great picture. I think I'll get it over to our fabulous Megan for the Gr8 Nrthrn Sexcast page. My now departed Great Dane Henry wearing his orange Ray-Bans and his multicolor, pride-colored feather boa.
I love that picture.
It's a great picture. I think we should immortalize Henry first Pride year without him. So looking forward to it. Come be sure if you're going down to Pride, I don't care if you're gay, straight, whatever, LBT, whatever. It's a great weekend. It's a lot of fun. The atmosphere is hysterical.
Yeah, we have lots of giveaways. We have a spinning wheel for the prizes, and so we're on the north end of the park where we've been for a long time. So if you know where the the red section or the adult section is, we're like across. I don't even know the names of the new restaurants because it used to be right across from Joe's Garage and the other place that's no longer there.
Yeah,
and so we're sandwiched in between the tennis courts and them.
Kind of boring.
Yeah. 28th and Boost 28 and 30. It's always nice because we're in between a tree and a bench. And we've got all the room. It's a green top tent, but we have lots of rainbow flags, so it's easy to
yeah.
Just look for the crowds because once we get that spinning wheel going, people line up. I'm telling you, our booth gets really busy.
Okay, sounds good. No, that'll be super, super fun. I'm looking forward to it. Another thing that's coming up besides Pride this weekend is I just want to mention that we're going to do a montage show. And that's going to be coming up July 7th, which is my brother's birthday. Yes.
Excellent birthday month.
Yeah. When's yours, Colleen?
Oh, the 5th. That's fine.
So
Yeah,
right
I don't mind sharing.
Okay. So we're gonna have a really great montage collection show, and Tara will be on with Colleen to tee that show up. So be looking forward for that one, because there's a lot of really interesting folks that are going to be talking about a lot of really interesting things. So be looking forward to that. All right. So are we ready for the news?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you know what a wedding moon is?
I have no clue.
Okay,
don't Google it.
No,
it's not there.
No,
what are you doing
Googling.
over there? She's digging in her phone. You just stop that.
Just checking. I have teen angst at my house this morning. So
Okay, it's a new trend. It's a new trend.
trend.
And what they're doing, couples are actually going on a vacation before the wedding to like decompress.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right?
Why didn't I think of that?
I mean, it's like they've gotten so stressful
now
that they have to take a vacation from the freaking wedding before they even tie the knot.
Because
what does that mean?
I've heard of baby moon. Where you go, before the baby shows up, where you can stay. And no, I'm just gonna have to explain to my mom that I once again have saved them even more money,
right?
Because
by not marrying.
They no longer have to worry about this new freaking trend. Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
So they're taking and then they either still do take the honeymoon or they postpone it or whatever. But, that's fine. Whatever turns your crank, I'm not, judgmental that way. But the thing that gets me is how outrageous wedding costs are. I think it's ridiculous. And it's so over the top. That bothers me more than people just doing whatever they want. I hate it when people spend exorbitant amounts of money doing what other people think they should do.
And there's been several studies, and I suppose we could go to Google, that says that the more you spend on your wedding, the less likely your wedding is to survive.
I've read stories about it.
I was today. Happy anniversary to the folks I know that have been married 25 years ago today.
Oh.
But last night we were at dinner celebrating that, and they put together the entire wedding for and it was a gorgeous wedding. Everything was there for, I think, less than $2,000 2 years ago.
Oh, that's nice.
25 years ago,
yeah.
And they are going strong.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, okay, they approved that part of the.
Yeah, if that's the case, mine will last forever because we kept it simple, kept it cheap for our wedding last year.
Really? How did you? Just out of curiosity, how did you set yours up?
We basically wanted to get married on our cruise ship, but I knew it was too much for my family and everybody to come on a destination wedding. So
Sure.
I wanted the captain of the cruise ship to marry us. So we had a pre-wedding because I had, to get married in Minnesota, we wanted to get married first before going out of state because I was not going to change my name and all that. So we just got a couple friends, family over before the wedding and just hung out and had cake and did all the ceremony. Cool. One of my employees, she's an ordained minister, so she married me and Eric. So, yeah, Josie, she was awesome. It was beautiful.
It's interesting. My favorite wedding to date that I have attended was a year ago, February, and it was, a gay wedding, ironically, and it was our dear friends Scott and Brent, and who had been together 25 years, and finally were able to get married. And it was held at a mutual friend's house, and they had their pastor from the church that they go to come in, and his partner was the photographer, and it was all of just their very best friends. I think there were fewer than 20 of us, and it was a beautiful ceremony. Then we had cake and champagne, and then we all went over to JD Hoyt's, and we had a private room, and we all just bought our own dinner and whatever we wanted and just celebrated. And I just loved it.
That's
I thought it
nice.
was great, and I still think about it all the time. So I hated my first, yes, it ended in divorce, my first wedding did, but it wasn't that. I did not like the fanfare and the whole look at me thing. I do not understand the bridezilla thing. I was so uncomfortable, and I allowed myself to be talked into a meringue dress, a huge dress. My mom and my sister got me hammered and dragged me into a bridal shop. I wanted to go buy something off the rack, like a Macy's or something, just something classy. Oh no! I had the big. I couldn't even go pee by myself. No, seriously, that's not a good day. If you need assistance to pee, that's a bad day.
The amount of times that I've held up wedding dresses, but then again, a lot of my friends' marriages and stuff like that were in the late 80s and 90s, and they still had some pretty big dresses back then versus the slinky
mermaids.
Mermaids and the strapless things now.
But that presents a whole different set of challenges for trying to pee,
Yeah,
now you
still
can't get your legs apart. Before it was like you can't get the dress up. Now you can't,
Yeah,
being a girl can be just a bugger.
Yes, there was,
you're lucky, Michael.
Lucky.
Yeah, the tuxes, you're much easier to pee.
Exactly. And for the wedding we had here, we just made it simple. We went to Calvin Klein and just got some white, linen shorts and shirts and just made it really nice and simple and had
Was
it
it
in our
summertime then,
It was,
obviously?
yeah.
Okay.
It was in June. It was just
June
June
wedding.
15th. It was just our anniversary one year.
That's
It was
so
beautiful.
cool.
It was.
That is really cool. Yeah, no, I'm just so whatever. Knock yourselves out, wedding mooners. So relentlessly gay. Let's talk about being relentlessly gay, Michael.
That's just crazy.
What I find fascinating is that I brought this up yesterday, and both Eric and I were like, "What?" I said, "Oh, Google it." And I think there was like this head desk moment, and they're just like, and they're like, "Wait a minute,
Colleen, tell the story.
those mason jars."
Tell the story first.
Okay. So I'm flipping through the land of the interwebs, and I run across the story of a woman, and I'm blanking on the city she's in. I believe it's somewhere. Is it
In
Ohio?
Ohio.
Ohio. And where this woman got a note, an unsigned note from her neighbor, explaining how if she doesn't stop having her yard be relentlessly gay, she's going to call the cops. And the picture that she posted was of this gorgeous line of mason jars that are in multi-rainbow colors that say Aloha and Ohana. Or Ohana, I'm not sure what the other one was.
I think one said love.
Love
One
and
said-
Ohana. Yeah. I mean, and I just went, but I think what got the most of it is that it was relentlessly gay. And I'm like, what about a string of lights that are in colored mason jars are
It was
relentlessly
kind of
gay?
cool, like outside art project.
Oh, yeah.
It
Really.
was really cool.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really cool. I mean, you can find tutorials on there, on like Pinterest now on how to make these lights. She set it up a funding page because she goes, "You want relentlessly gay? I'll show you relentlessly gay." And she's trying to get, I think she's raised over $30,000 now. She's hoping to get a rainbow roof, and I hope she gets it.
I do too.
Because I'm telling you,
a
there's a
stupid
lot of
story.
neighborly. Oh yeah, that was real neighborly of the person who leave an
It's
anonymous
supposed to be
note.
like a Christian neighborhood, and what about the children and everything? I'm like,
Oh, so now a rainbow's offensive, or
Exactly.
anything that's in a rainbow. Come on,
I believe that relentlessly gay. That is so hard
It's
to
hard
say
to
after a
say.
while.
she said it so much
After
yesterday.
is that I think there's a website now, and I really hope someone makes T-shirts that says that because
For
that
Pride?
I can't imagine that someone is not immediately printing that up, because that is one of the funniest things I have ever heard. I'm just like, oh my god.
and you can't tell in the story. It doesn't mention, and it doesn't matter if the woman is gay or straight. She's a widow with 4 kids, and that's all it states. And so it's like, whatever, people.
She's from what I can tell from a picture or two, she has an incredibly whimsical, yard, and so I'm assuming that my yard must be relentlessly gay because I have a crap load of flowers that are in all sorts of the colors of the rainbow, and I have a brightly colored house. So.
And the house alone is relentlessly
Relentlessly
gay.
I'm sure that my house is more relentlessly gay than your guys' house.
I
is.
guarantee that.
Are you a house-asexual? I don't know.
I know, but I just felt, I'm like, oh, that was just a perfect thing to go viral in June, Pride Month, and all that sort of stuff. Because this woman's like, oh, screw you people.
That's right.
She wasn't going to put up with that. She's like, I'll show you relentlessly gay. It's like when the person complained about one of my windows. I said, I'll change the damn window, and I did a Clinton Monica Lewinsky window. I said, I never got any shit from this person again.
Good for you. Good for you.
I just drive. I'm like, my windows are so PG. I mean, the stuff at Victoria's Secret is so much more risque than anything I ever do that I just drives me insane.
Do you styles the windows at Fantasy
I
Goods?
do.
You do?
I do have
Yeah.
the one we have left.
We've yanked out a lot of windows because one, I need the floor space and I want the light, and some of the window platforms were deteriorating, so you just need to remodel after a
Yes.
while.
Yeah.
But
St. Louis Park, we still have a window that I enjoy doing every time we change a season or something. And right now, it's a stripper. It's a bridal thing. So I thought I'd go around the bridal thing and do the bachelorette and the bride standing in front of a male stripper wearing one of our cop uniforms with a boom box.
Sweet.
It's
That's
pretty
fun.
fun.
That is.
I wanted to try to rig a pole up in there, but I thought that might push the ticket.
Michael's over at Home Depot in the plumbing section.
No,
What have I got?
we have poles,
We
but
do
yes,
have poles.
but,
A metal cutter.
But there's the thing is that just like anything, once you take something out of the box, getting it back in the box.
That doesn't go in the same way. It's a lot more difficult.
Oh, how true it is. Oh my God, that's funny. Guys, I don't know if we could call this a transgender dog, but this is a cute, heartfelt kind of story coming to you from Compton, California. This was a rescue, and this is on YouTube. And it's a rescue of 4 dogs, 3 puppies, and a mom, supposedly, from living in a steel yard in Compton, California. Okay, and it's pretty desolate there in the industrial part of Compton. I'm from Southern California, so I know firsthand. And this I can't think of the name of the something for Paws. Hope for Paws, I think, is the organization. It documents this whole rescue, and these puppies, 2 of them, had never had any human contact, so they were terrified. And they're these little, they're cute. I mean, they're going to be scrappy looking little dogs. They finally get the puppies, and they're just crying, and they, all, take them up. And then they finally get the mom. It's not a mom, it's a dad. And the whole thing about it, the dad was wonton, and they're like noodle, cannoli. And they named them, like that, like all pasta, carbs. They're named after carbs. And they're like, God, this is so unusual for a male dog to stay in the picture, because, they kind of do their job and take off, in the thing. So we have a kind of a transgender dog, a Mr. Mom, if you will. Isn't that cute?
That is
Mr.
so
Puppy.
cute.
It's what, and you got to watch the video. It's heartwarming, and these rescuers are.
The doggy rescue videos are just amazing, because I think I know which company you're talking about. And they occasionally run across my feed because I've got a lot of dog lovers, and I'm just like, when they go find the dog that's in the scrap pile, or they're trying to find it, or they find one that's buried in the bushes, and they're trying to get the puppies, and they're just, because 10 minutes later, after they just know that there's going to be love, and there's always slobbering and this and that, and trying, it just but the puppies and so they're gonna.
They're all carbs. I don't know how they're going to adopt them out, but I mean, it's just a cute darn video and a great organization. So I had to give them a little bit of a plug. But by the way, do you guys ever watch Pit Bulls and Parolees?
My daughter really likes that.
Oh my God.
Shows, but I have not.
I cry almost every episode.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons I don't go down there. Is I'm like, no,
But it's,
don't. The whole heartstrings and the puppies and the. I don't have a dog. I live vicariously through other people's dogs. I have friends that are very heavily involved in the greyhound. Some stuff
cool.
like that.
Yep.
And with the animals, and there's just dogs all over it. And so, but I just have a hard time sometimes with some of the some of the things that it's like dogs and kids. I don't want to see anything bad happening to dogs or kids. It's not entertainment.
I can't watch that either. I'm too emotional.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just fascinated with the true amazing work that they do, though. I'm riveted. And of course, I'm a 2 pit bull household all of a sudden. And so I'm hooked. It's kind of but I get that. It is kind of hard. There was something that you said about, I don't know. I'll think about it later. So
sounds reasonable.
Yeah. So, but we'll have 2 pit bulls in the studio pretty soon. Greta's almost ready for prime time. She's getting there. She's being trained. So, you're gonna love this one, Colleen. There is an event coming to Toronto this summer called Deliciously Disabled, and it's being thrown by a woman who wants to dispel the fear and stigma around disabled people and sex. And so.
They're supposed to be asexual, just like old people aren't supposed to have sex and all that sort of
something
stuff.
like that. And the event's going to be, it's not really a huge event, but there's room for 25 people with wheelchairs and 40 standing, and non-disabled people are also welcome. She's setting up burlesque performances. People will be allowed to wear masks, attend sex toy workshops, which is cool. I know you guys are all about that. And people are allowed to have sex if they so choose. But they said, she wants to get the fear away from it. And she said, what people don't realize is that people that are disabled do have a libido, and they are not necessarily easily injured in sex. So kind of an interesting one coming up this summer.
No, I can see that. If she's just starting it, I can see that growing.
Yeah.
Because there's, excuse me.
Yeah.
But I mean, even just the amount of veterans coming back.
Yeah,
from the past
true.
12, 13, 14 years of war here. Plenty of folks are going through there. And these are vital young people that have had, their things going on. They're not going to stop having sex.
Well, good.
No.
They shouldn't.
There's no reason to.
If anybody deserves to have some fun, it's the people that have served.
Yeah. Stephen Hawking fathered a bunch of folks. He's been in a wheelchair for years. I mean, it's not it's happening. It's sort of like it's something that nobody ever talks about. And, so they're going to talk about it, because I'm sure that some folks, depending on their support system, don't feel like they have, that they're alone.
Yeah.
And that's one thing people really. A lot of times, there's 7 billion people on the planet. More than likely, you're not the first person to ever have that thought, feeling, or action.
I know, isn't that funny? We all think we're the first one.
Yeah, no. There's folks out there. I think that's one thing that, there's been some, there's real crap that happens on the internet, but I think it's been able to, bring people together that just not sure if they're alone, and they're not.
That's great. No, I hats off. I think that's a great idea. I'm telling you right now, this is our little Gr8 Nrthrn Sexcast public service announcement. If you're single and if you're planning to hook up, don't do it in Rhode Island. They've got a dubious achievement. Listen to this. According to their state version of their CDC, their sexually transmitted diseases are huge. I mean, they've like skyrocketed in the last couple of years. Listen to this: HIV up 33% between 2013 and 14. Gonorrhea up 30%. Syphilis 79% increase year over year. And their health officials there are saying, well, they're blaming social media, that people are hooking up easier, but they're getting hammered and not using condoms and safe sex, and they're doing it all under the influence and all of that. And I guess the hardest hit portions of the communities are gay and bisexual men, African Americans, Hispanics, and young adults. So it's really kind of frightening. And there was also a study out of New York University that literally blamed Craigslist for a 16% increase in HIV cases between about a 10-year span nationwide.
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it's easier to meet people, and a lot of diseases just are out of people's mindsets, whether they're not learning about it because education programs have been cut, or they're just useless to the point of being idiotic to the point of being useless. But I don't think there's a memory in folks that are even 20 or in their early 30s of what it was really like to have a lot of to deal with syphilis or gonorrhea or HIV.
Yeah.
They just don't think about it.
Right.
But I find it fascinating that it's Rhode Island. You would think that a larger community, or is it, maybe it's just the percentages?
Yeah, it's the percentages that's why the article was written on them, because
because there's not that many people there.
That's too high.
I know when you're playing license plate bingo, it's really hard to find Rhode Island.
Yeah, that's very true.
They're there having sex.
That is very, very, very true. Okay, on another note, this is funny stuff right here. This is not your average tax protest in Australia. Prostitution is legal there, apparently. And there's it's Austria, not Australia. Austria. They are offering a summer special, and it's effective immediately. Free sex. Free entrance, free drinks, free sex. And check this out. The owner says it's his way of protesting tax squeeze. I guess that Herman Mueller, and he runs several brothels, is going to pay the women working to make up for what they would normally make from their customers. And he said the tax office keeps just jacking up the rates. And he goes, I'm tired of being the tax man's pimp. And I guess it's really... he says he's had an increase of in taxation of more than $5 million over 10 years. And this was verified by the fact checkers at the news outlet that brought this story up, that, yes, they are offering free sex in Austria. So, if you can hop a plane.
Well, it's about a $2,000 plane ticket from the U.S. to there, because I know that's one of the reasons I'm not going to Spain, is because I just could not justify the amount that it takes to get to Europe right now in the summer.
Yeah.
So I don't know how free that is, but I can see that obviously in Austria they're doing the same thing they probably do here. Instead of, the sin taxes are supposed to, take care of everything else versus, making a much more equitable or fair tax. Because, there are costs to living in a civilized society. Somehow people just don't want to pay for it, so they shove it onto the cigarettes, or they shove it onto the booze, or this or that. And to some extent, it works. Yeah, and to some extent, it's good, but you could spread it out a little bit more. Yeah. And it sounds like that it's hard to say say no to something like that.
For sure. When I thought this was Australia, I read it initially incorrectly, and it's Austria. So now I guess we can say the hills are alive with the sound of going on over there. Nevada, though, not so good. The brothels are having a terrible time. A lot of them are closing because I guess, and they blame it on the fact that police are not cracking down on illegal sex within the, because all the brothels are outside of the Las Vegas city limits.
Takes. I mean, you got to rent a car. You got to drive all the way out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's so much work when someone's just sitting in the bar in the casino. I bet.
Yeah. They're really, really having trouble. So they're calling their struggles out there. The headline on the story was "Survival of the Freakiest." So they're all like trying to, promote and get past people outside the city back into the brothels. But the number of brothels has been cut in half in the last decade out there. So kind of an interesting trend out. And so everybody's just, watch. Let's see about the HIV and everything else.
Unless they take Austria's advice and start giving away for free. Get the people back in, a little freebie.
Yeah, for sure.
Stamp card.
Punch cards. Oh my God. Well, that's an interesting punch card.
Every 12th, you get a free blowjob.
Like the glory hole card. No,
there you go.
Sorry.
We should market for them.
Colleen's holding her head and shaking her.
No.
Okay.
All right.
We'll straighten up. Or not. Finally, the Sex Pistols. You guys remember the Sex Pistols, and obviously Sid Vicious is gone. But I actually met Johnny Rotten once. Believe it or not, when I was still a reporter, I was out in California covering the 2000 presidential election, mm-hmm. and we were at the Democratic convention at the time, and he was out there reporting for MTV, mm-hmm. and so we were in the press pit together, and I'm like, oh my God, and I'm like, God save the Queen, she ain't no human being. It was so exciting. I was just like, he was really nice, but he's a scrawny little guy. Oh, he's tiny little Brit. But the Sex Pistols, sorry, I had to have a moment there.
Oh, no, that's just fine.
So they are actually going to be on, the band's name and their album artwork is going to appear on a series of credit cards for a bank in London. So, and it's actually Virgin Money. It's Sir Richard Branson. So it's not exactly one of the more stuffy banks of London.
No. I'm just trying to vision. I mean, do you pay for something before you trash it? I mean, exactly.
I don't know. That's a good question. Or staple it, poke holes, pierce it.
I mean, it's just fascinating. But then you think about it. At one point, I remember reading a story when Microsoft came up with something, and they wanted to use the Rolling Stones as "Start Me Up" for it. And,
cool.
And I guess the Stones got together and they came up with this obscenely high dollar amount that no one in their right mind would ever pay for the rights. And then Apple went, sure. And they're like, well, okay. Because if you're willing to pay that much, so I have to admit, what obscenely high number the Virgin Bank paid for this, because there's no way. I mean, it had to be just so over the top that no sane person would ever look at that and go, no, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah. Like, no. I would kill for one of these cards, though. I want one.
Will you go and get us each one?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm serious. And
there's got to be an online application somewhere.
You can do anything on the internet. I'm going to look that up, Michael.
Okay.
In fact, maybe we can put a link to apply if you're a Sex Pistols fan. But, the interesting, Branson's Virgin Records signed the Sex Pickles.
Well, there was a vibrating plastic pickle years ago. I don't know if it still exists, but it was a novelty vibrating pickle, I can tell you that.
They were signed to Virgin Records in 1977. So that's the time.
Sex Pickle. Now I'm going to look up Sex Pickle.
There needs to be a song. There's got to be a parody song in there somewhere.
We'll have to see if Weird Al did one, because there's a guy.
Needs to.
Yeah, if he hasn't, he's probably tried. But I read several articles where saying, it just can't be silly. There's got to be some art to it. I mean, this is why this guy's as good as what he does, because there's a lot. He has to get permission to do it, and then he's got to come up with the right thing, and then he goes, and then at the end of the day, it has to be good and funny.
Yeah. I love it.
But Sex Pickle, I think, would work.
That would work.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Mindy Kaling. Big fan.
I love her.
I just started watching with some of the stuff, and
the mini project.
The mini projects. I started watching. I'm a little late to the party on some things. Just started watching some of the Amy Schumer show, and those two are just making me crack up.
Oh yeah, I haven't really actually even watched the show. I just know of her in general celebritydom, and I love the endorsements she's been getting. Her commercials are a scream, and she's so witty.
Is that the one where she's thinks she's invisible?
I love that.
I love when she's walking through the store pounding the ice cream.
Yeah.
Like, this is, oh, God. No, she's great. Well, she she's got a new book coming out, and it's due in a couple months. And she makes a kind of an interesting comment about on-screen sex. Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, everybody's lying about it. And I'm like, really? And what she wants to say is that it is fun, but actors don't talk about it for a couple of reasons. Number one, they don't want their significant others to be upset, which makes perfect sense.
Yes.
They want to say, oh, it's, whatever. But she makes the comment, she says, look, it's fun. It feels good. And you've got these crew members that are watching, and the voyeurism part of it's kind of fun. And at the end of the day, you wish there were more people.
Well, I do understand that she's been that she's quite the promiscuous person on her show, so she must have a lot of fun then smooching.
She talks about her on-screen boyfriend and how much fun it was to shoot with Chris Messina. But she said, I guess there's a sort of silent understanding that we all keep our traps shut about the world's best job perk. So I thought that was funny coming from Mindy Kaling.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is that really, if a guy was to say that, he would just be considered a scumbag.
Uh-huh.
She says that she's bold.
Yeah.
I mean, so I can see that's where the oh my God, where's the word
you're thinking now I can't think of it. And I know what you're trying to say.
Oh God!
Don't look to me. I'm still trying to figure out what both of you are thinking.
But it is, because it would just be,
it's like reverse discrimination, but that's not quite right.
Yeah, but it's just very funny because I'm pretty sure that if Matt Damon was to say that, they would just call him a horn dog.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know, and it's not fair. So I think that's really funny, and I just love it that she is like just breaking down doors and stereotypes right and left, and I couldn't be happier for her career. Good for her. An interesting thing is happening out there among many.
One? Okay.
Yeah. Package pageants is what I call it, and it's beauty pageants for body parts like sex organs and different things. And these are becoming popular worldwide. And Brooklyn, for example.
Okay, so you actually found something that I haven't heard about. Where's the tally board?
Ooh, one for Kelly.
I'm like,
yeah. So they had the smallest penis contest, and the reason was because it's a bar called the Kings County Saloon, his business partner had a bad romantic experience with a guy who was too big. So he thought it would be fun to give a shout out with the guy's smallest, for the small guys. Mm-hmm. So they did this whole contest, and he says it's not about smallness, but confidence and hearts, and guys who are proud to be who they are. And this year's winning wiener belongs to a guy named the Puzzle Master. And he did an altered version of Goldfinger to reflect his endowment. And he said, this is voyeuristic and taboo, but it's a statement about equality. And I guess it's like taking off. So I guess there's stuff going on down in Brazil where they have, rear end, hinder looking.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the fanny is incredibly important. The buttocks.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, they love that. But this one, guys, now comes back around to fantasy gifts business. There's a company do you guys know a company called Autoblow? Have you heard of
but
them?
I'd like to.
Okay. Well, I'll try to get you introduced.
We will ask Tara tomorrow. Sometimes she does, but like I said, there are so many things that it's overwhelming.
It blows my mind.
This is a company that makes a machine designed to perform artificial blowjobs. Okay, so they are holding a contest to find America's most beautiful vagina. Okay, and the reason they're doing this, they say, Colleen, is that a dirty little secret of the adult toy industry, I'm dying to see if you guys agree with this, is that the majority of vagina masturbators are supposedly molded from porn stars and sold as replica are in fact not. So they're, fraudulent. And they're all, 75% of them are strikingly similar. Would you agree with that?
Well, we've seen the for the folks that are the real top stars. I mean, there's video of them out there getting molded.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going through there. Now, if you're buying a $19 one that has sort of a name on it, you're like, Maybe
It's questionable.
going through there, but the high-end stars, no. When it
Yeah.
comes to fleshlights and other companies, I would say no. That's
And that
not
question
gonna-
actually came up last weekend when we did this thing with Jessica Drake, and
Oh.
she's like, "No, I can assure you, this is my vagina. I molded it. They even give you, sometimes you can go on and check out the video of them actually molding it. But I believe these stars are actually molding their junk, so you can have the pleasure of doing that. It is legit, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, maybe that's the 25%. But this is funny. The Vagina Beauty Contest has 15 vulvas competing to win cash prizes of $5,000, $2,500, and $1,500. They will not get royalties. The 3 winning vaginas will be flown out to LA to get the 3D scan, which is what you're probably talking about. And he says that they are winning money, a one-time payment for something that they were given. It's not like they did anything. It's what they were born with. So he doesn't believe that royalties are warranted. What do you think?
bullshit.
Okay.
They're going to want some royalties.
Right on.
No. It's still it's like using any model's face in a Revlon ad. Yeah, they were given that, but yeah, they still they deserved deserve to get paid for it, or someone's voice they were given that to say that bullshit.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But because I think I think, although I have to admit, I think some of the places years ago there might have been just a one-time payment for items, but there is no way in the industry now that someone hasn't inked a deal for an upfront payment and and then the box, and then any of the images used, their names being used, the product, the whole thing is, and I'm sure that they've even they're inking like any future use too. Because it's no way that folks that did Gilligan's Island would know that 50 years later that they would be, that their stuff would still be watched.
Yeah.
But but everyone now knows that anything that you produce could live on for a very long time in a form that you can't even think of.
Right.
And
That's
it's
for sure.
Especially your vagina.
Immortalized.
It is. And it's your vagina. Nobody else has that vagina, so I would definitely want
or your
royalties.
penis, because
Your penis.
we have quite a number of replica penises
We
too,
do.
and they all do quite well when we get
And they
them.
actually show you the molding their penises too, so there's no question. Sometimes the box is a little deceiving. It's like, I don't think this guy's is really this big, but then you look at it, it's like, maybe that's him. But then they show you molding it and everything. So I really do believe they're them. They might emphasize it a little more, but it's been molded from those stars.
I think I'm fascinated with the fact that they actually put out video for verification purposes of this happening. But I suppose if you are bold enough to be willing to sell your vagina, who cares who watches how it happens?
Exactly, and they're going to watch you probably in porn, because most likely a porn star is doing these. Who wants to buy just any Joe's penis?
Yeah. Right.
It's all about the
Right.
fantasy,
Yeah. Oh my God! See, I have no judgment here, but it's like there's stuff that's so far beyond the normal things.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
This is normal for
yeah,
us.
and
I know.
It's no different than their voice or their face, or if someone was a hand model, or if someone had really good toes and was being a shoe model. That's that's how they're making the living. They deserve to make a living for as long as that image is used.
I agree, actually, Colleen. I definitely do. Reminds me once again, there's almost a Sex and the City episode for almost everything that we talk about. And remember the one when Charlotte had the foot perv at the shoe store? Do you remember that one?
Vaguely.
Hysterical.
yeah.
So funny. But yeah, fetish people also welcome here at the Gr8 Nrthrn Sexcast.
Yes.
Okay, guys, we'll close out today. Our last topic. I thought this was pretty interesting. This isn't your grandpa's online calculator. There's all sorts of places that you can go to kind of figure out how you rank sexually. And not meaning how good you are at it, but rather more how prolific and how do you compare to the rest of society. So I thought this was pretty interesting. There's 5 different places that you can go to find out if you are quote unquote normal. And what does that mean even?
Right.
Okay. But first of all, Slate has a new interactive sex partner calculator. Woo! It's a little more fun than mortgage interest rates or things like that. Amortization.
Yeah, and or BMI. Yeah, I'd rather other things. I think I'd rather.
Yeah. So they will try to tell you on slate.com if the number of people that you've slept with is a lot or not. So you put in your age, gender, and the number of partners you've had since the age of 18, and you'll see how you quote unquote stack up. And it's pretty short, and it lets you calculate your number. So that one's one, slate.com. Now this one's weird. I really don't get this. Compare yourself to a Harvard student. Okay, so this one, they did a survey at Harvard with the graduating seniors, and they found that 58% of Harvard seniors started their freshman year as a virgin because they were studying to get into Harvard, probably. Didn't have time to get laid. 21% had sex for the first time as a freshman at Harvard. Okay, 24 had no sex while at Harvard. Now that's sad.
That is
really sad. I mean, God, I would think you'd need it. But for the number of partners, 19% of men and 7% of women had 10 or more during college.
That's because they had, they finally got away from home.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to go with that. That's not too much different nowadays, because I don't think people. Not that hooking up didn't happen before, but I do think it's easier now.
It is a lot
Tinder
easier.
apps and stuff like that.
Download an app. It tells you if somebody's right next door to you. It's GPS located. It's like, there's somebody.
It
right
used to
down
be
the
so much
street.
work. The old local papers had all those ads, and you had to peruse them, and then you have to email.
Wait.
It's nanoseconds now. Although I did read about something or hear about something in I think Great Britain or something where you can actually rate the guys. And give it hashtag, like hashtag paid for dinner, or hashtag didn't brush his teeth, or hashtag really nothing wrong with him, and you can get a star rating on this.
Oh my God! So it's almost like hotels.com for
Yes.
men.
Yeah, or not even hotels. It's like back in the day before even internet. They had these like parts of the beaches where you can go and hook up. It's like truck stops and stuff. At least now it's like you can at least get a bio on these people before you actually go and hook up.
Yeah, and the thing is,
You can Google them.
and it's honest. If someone says, I just want this, you're like, well, they're not lying to you.
Right.
It may not be something that you want or that you approve from one way or another, but if it's two consenting adults,
Now you just get to pick from a list.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it's not. Really, we all know sex is fun. It's out there, but I maybe just because of our age or the socialization or something like that would just be way. I think it would be more work.
Yeah.
Than the sex is fun, but
If sex wasn't fun, we'd be out of business.
Yeah,
for sure. No question.
but just that sort of randomness is a little foreign to me, but I think that has much more to do with age than anything else.
Yeah.
Just an experience and just socialization. We just grew up at a different time.
And some people find it exciting to, meet up with somebody, total complete stranger. You don't have to have the whole love or anything. It's just quick hookup. You're done. You're gone. Anonymous.
The step up from friends with benefits. Because some folks can figure that out.
Well, hopefully you become friends.
Yeah,
after
that's
that
what I'm saying.
benefit.
But some folks can figure that out. Because I was I think that's sort of where it started. Is that people weren't dating anymore, or just sort of hooking up with someone that you were going to school with, or this or that, or a study break. Relaxation.
I would much rather have sex with somebody
break.
I knew than a complete stranger. That's the way I am.
Me too. I'm funny that way as well,
Yeah.
so I get it. I get that.
There was always been the one night stands, but the fact that it's but they were, I think, a lot rarer. In the past, or at least a lot less talked about.
There's more or less talked about,
that's
the whole
it. That's it.
shaming.
That goes back to
It's one of those things where like the words are coming out of my mouth. I'm like,
Yeah. See, I have a number set in my mind, and that is the truth.
Well, think about this. Did you? I don't know if you guys ever. Colleen, you don't have cable, but the Borgias. There was a series about the Borgia Pope, and the infamous Lucretia Borgia, and the whole thing. And sadly, that series only. And Jeremy Irons was brilliant in it. Okay, just amazing. But that show only went 3 seasons, and we were so bummed. But the debauchery in the Vatican, alone. So if the Vatican back then was like, and I'm not saying it is now or anything like that, but we know that throughout the millennia there has just been utter and complete. So this whole thing about we're getting lewder, I think actually because it's more out in the open, I think it's a little bit less. Do you agree? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. It could be. Yeah, because you're just going through there, and it's not hidden. It's just that there's no reason, and I
don't know.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thought about because humans are humans.
Well,
are
I don't
humans.
think. I certainly don't think it's more. I really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that it's easier to find out about things. I don't think that there's. People are doing evil things and good things all over the world. We just know about it in about 10 seconds now.
Right.
And before we'd either never know about it or it would take 2 years to get to us or something.
Right.
but the instantaneous knowledge that we have, once again, good, bad, we have to take both sides.
The only thing, just kind of going back to what you were talking about, ranking people and stuff like that, the only thing that bugs me about that is how easy it is to online review anything, not just a sex partner, and how you can't, it follows you, forever. And let's just be honest, people can be really awful.
They can.
I mean, and I think a lot of times, I think society is getting used to seeing these bad reviews, and you can kind of tell if somebody's just an idiot, just trying to be, but still, it's there.
When you read a review, you can definitely, or a comment or something like that, I think it says a hell of a lot more about the reviewer than it ever does about the thing that's being reviewed.
To punish that way.
Yeah. You look at sentence structure, you look at grammar, you just look at how they're phrasing things, what they're doing, and because, I'm looking for a hotel to stay at. And, if someone's complaining that there are too many children, yet it's, as a family resort.
Right. It's the water park of America.
There's a problem there. Or if someone's, complaining about a long-held policy that's been around forever. None of this stuff is new, and so I really think that it makes someone. You can look at the people that are raving and the people that are really awful, and just discount them and go to the middle and see see if they're actually addressing what you're going for. And I think that probably works for rating people too, because if someone gave someone like 1 out of 5 stars, for example, because you didn't they didn't pay for dinner but offered to split it, to me that would be a good thing. And someone else it might be a bad thing. So it's, where do you sit on that?
Right. That's true.
But the folks that are, I think the folks that are true trolls out there out themselves.
True trolls.
I'm saying, but they out themselves, and I don't care whether they're reviewing Target or us or Holiday Inn chain or the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or anything.
Yeah.
You can see we're like.
And reviews are great.
I can't take that person seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
Good reviews are great, because if I want to find a hotel, I want to see what experiences they have. I don't want to see all this negative, just because of little things and stuff. But, I do go by, I base it on the positive reviews as well as the negative, even in our business. It's like you can review our employees so quick now, and we can check it out and make sure everything is right. But, I think people get good responses and know where to shop when they get a good review, and good reviews are awesome.
Yeah, no, I did a review for my vet the other day. I was trying to find her phone number, and I saw that she didn't have any reviews, so I wrote one. And then I went in, not too shortly thereafter. Man, she came out of the room with another patient. She heard my voice. Funny, she recognized me. And she came out and she's like, Kelly, thank you so much for writing the review. And I'm like, it was my absolute pleasure. It was like no problem. But she said, and you guys probably find this, I know, but my boyfriend finds it even with his liquor store. People are so reticent to, because they don't want their name out there, and I hate it that the jerks seem to find a way to get them up there and remain anonymous. No,
that's the reason. Like I said, I think you can. For the most part, I think you can understand more about a review about the person who's reviewing than that. If you really look into how it's being reviewed, how they're using, are they talking about facts or just the emotion? Did it not live up to that person's expectations? But what were their expectations? So like I said, I tend to discount, if it's a 1 to 5 star rating, I discount anything that's a 1, I discount anything that's a 5, and I go right to it.
They always had another problem, which probably doesn't concern me, so I don't need to know about that review.
Well, that's fair. I feel better, you guys. Thanks.
No, but there's out there, and I'm just like, and then you can't, if someone is truly vicious, I've never had to make anything go away. Sometimes I'll if they're I'll just ignore the comment or this going through there, because we've gotten some people say, I'm like, I'm not sure this is the place where you should be shopping if you don't like our return policy.
Well, there's that.
Or I don't think you should be staying at that hotel if you don't like kids. Or I don't really think that you understand that if you go to some place in Hawaii, that's going to cost a little bit to go to a restaurant there because everything is shipped in.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. Yes, the Subway sandwich is going to cost more someplace.
Yeah.
And if you're good, I'm like, if you're, I think your expectations and your knowledge need to meet somewhere before you can honestly make an opinion.
You're so reasonable.
And then definitely check out all the reviews, because if you have one negative review and you get the rest like 10 positives, I would definitely go for the positives, because everybody's not going to have the same experience as everybody else. So
and I've always been rather logical, so maybe that's why I don't understand what people just.
I think people like to complain,
Yeah, and then folks like to complain a lot more than folks like to say nice things. You just go
And
by.
we
So
like those
I
nice
make
things.
sure, honestly. I mean, there's the Perkins over near my office, and every time I've gone in there, because sometimes you don't want cuisine, you need food.
Yeah.
And I want breakfast.
Getting a
and they
little
have
hangry.
breakfast, and I get some pancakes, I get my omelet, and I'm a happy person. And they have a pleasant staff, and they have all things. And I make sure the manager knows.
Yeah.
I make sure. I mean,
We love those compliments.
Yes, I'm in retail, so I sort of get the fact that you do need to take that 10 seconds and tell someone that your experience was good.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Well,
And that needs to happen more, because you do believe that, like, who are all these angry people out there? Because it is just a small amount that I think, and I think,
But it is
they're having a bad day.
contagious.
Yeah.
If you're having a bad day, you go into a Starbucks and then make them have a bad day, then the next customers behind them are going to have a bad day. It's domino.
Yeah, it is.
Try to stay positive. Keep everybody happy.
It's funny because we just got a bunch of work done at our cabin, like things installed and whatnot. So I've been getting surveys out the nose in the last week. And I did have one really horrible experience with our cable internet installer, which was supposed to be happening while we were podcasting last week. And I found out that they never showed up. Well, I later learned when I called customer service that the guy just drove to our driveway, didn't even go down to the property, and saw trees and said it's not possible. Well, that's BS, right? And so the customer service person said, well, we'll send somebody else out there if you'll cut down your trees. I'm like, are you on crack? So long story short, I got a survey, because that's how I knew that they weren't coming. They were like, why did you cancel your order? I'm like, I didn't, and I need the internet. So I sent in this horrible review. I'm like, what the hell? And your customer service department stinks. I got a call that night. They listened to my whole story. They sent me the best installer. Nice. He was brilliant. It works great. And I filled out his review. So I filled out like 6 reviews, really awesome ones, because I want to make sure that the bosses hear about it.
Yes.
And everybody should
We
do that.
appreciate it. We take the good and the bad reviews. And the bad reviews, we just learn from it. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, we know this is not working for specific customers, so do this differently for when they come back.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my dad managed to get out in Jersey eons ago, answered got in writing that they were going to install like the cable for like $20. Someone didn't pay attention to the fact that he was about a mile and a half down the road. Oh. So they honored it. Wow. And it was, they installed like a mile and a half of cable for like $20.
Oh, well, you know what? For all the injustices committed by cable companies, to me, that's a win.
That was just, and that's like, they just showed up and went, oh shit. But it wasn't a verbal thing. He had it in writing and said, this is going to hold up. Put it in.
Oh.
Good for him. Well, founder of Fantasy Gifts, well done you, Mr. Businessman. Guys, Pride Weekend this weekend. Any final thoughts on our pre-Pride show?
Coming down, say hi, spin the wheel, get fun stuff. We've got bracelets again. We have how many blow pops?
About 1,000 blow pops.
Blow pops. We have bracelets. We have tattoos. We have bins and bins of stuff that vendors have sent to give away. It's just always a lot of fun. We have stuff that's brought in particularly for it to see how it's going to be. So there's a
little product testing, kind of.
Mm-hmm. And no, it's always a good time. And Liz, she coordinates all that, so she works her butt off. Everybody else works their butt off. The booth is being built in my warehouse right now, and then we'll have to pack it all up on Thursday.
You do like a dry run to make.
Oh yeah, and we take pictures of everything. So we have our little planograms, and we can put everything up.
That makes sense. Okay.
We've done it so many years. We have it right. We have it down pat now.
Sweet. Well, guys, great show. Good to see you, Michael Radke and Colleen Bertino. Gr8 Nrthrn Sexcast, episode 28. So we've got more coming. Many more podcasts, and any emails, any communications, go to the Gr8 Nrthrn Sexcast on Facebook, and we will be back next week. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.